Gentle Ben, second half of chapter 4. Sorry, I got interrupted. Okay, all you've thought about is that you want Ben for a pet. There's more to it than that. Pets are expensive to keep, and Ben would be really expensive. Last night I figured out what it would cost to buy and support Ben. It's all right here on this page, his father said, pushing a sheet of paper toward him. I want you to take a good look at it. I've written down $100. That's the price he wants for Ben. There's $50 for that old shed to keep him in. There's the cost of feed, bread, and such things. You'll get it cheap at stores and restaurants, but you'll still have to pay something. Another $100. During the salmon season, he should have fish. I get 40 cents of fish from the cannery, so every fish Ben eats is 40 cents. That's right? I thought I could take him down to the creek and let him catch his own salmon, Mark said. Well, you can't count on that. You'll see why in a minute. Ben will eat 10 or 12 fish a day. Call it 10. That's $4 a day. A 45-day season makes it $180. All that adds up to $430 for Ben in 1 year. Well, I didn't think of all that, Mark said weakly. And that's not all, his father said. The shed needs a new roof and a window for light. It should be fixed better inside for his winter sleep. That's more money. We do not have a whole lot of cash right now. You know that. Yes, he knew. He'd heard his father and mother talking, planning night after night before they finished the payments on the far north. She was an expensive boat, and they had saved a long time for her. His father shoved the other papers across. Now let's look at this one. Owning an animal like Ben would not be just stopping at night after school to play with him. You've had responsibilities. I've written some of them down here. You have to cut and dry grass for bedding, clean the shed every day and keep it clean, scrounge around and get his food, the old bread and such. I could do that, Mark said. There's more, and it's not so easy. His father leaned back and spoke in a man-to-man voice. I hired 2 men aboard the boat during the season, you know. One is Clearwater, the other a pickup. You could help pay back that $480 I'd be spending by taking the place of the pickup. Are you sure he could take a man's place? Mark's mama asked anxiously. He could keep the seine neatly piled, the boat clean, right on top of the wheelhouse, and spot for schools of salmon. He could even take a turn at the wheel in open water. Oh, I could, Dad. I know I could, Mark said eagerly. You'd be aboard the whole season, his father said. Home Sundays and a few hours the days we came in with a load of fish. Your mom would be here all alone. And who'd feed Ben while you were on the boat? Mark hadn't thought of that. The hope that had begun to build within oozed away. His mama said quietly, I'm not afraid of being alone while my men are out working, and I'll feed Ben. She smiled at Carl. I've petted him a number of times. We get along really well. Mark was on his feet. Color had rushed into his cheeks. Dad, would you then? His voice was climbing with hope. Sit down, his father said. I'm not done. So Mark sat back down. His father said, You know, I never take anyone aboard the boat who can't swim. I'll learn, Mark promised. It won't take me long. Well, you didn't learn last summer or the summer before. I didn't really try, not very hard, but I can. I know I can, Dad. Read that second page carefully, his father said. Are you sure you could do all those things and do them on time? Mark scarcely heard his father, and he didn't see the writing on the paper. All he saw was Ben. I could, he said. I could do it easy. His father's bright blue eyes studied him. All right. Take that sheet upstairs and tack it on the wall over your bed. I'm going to go buy Ben for you. Dad, you mean it? You're going to? You're going to buy Ben? You really will? I really will, his father said, and for the first time that morning, Carl Anderson smiled. Mark shot out of his chair. The chair crashed over. Wow! Ben! You're mine! You're going to be all mine! He waved the paper and danced around the room. He charged around the table and he kissed his mama. He's mine! Ben's mine! Nobody can kill him now. He stopped short and looked at his father. That's part of the rule, isn't it, Dad? Nobody can kill Ben now? That's right, his father said. The rule's on your side now. On my side, Mark chanted. He rushed around the table, and for one of the few times in his life, he threw his arms around his father and kissed him. His father said, The chair, Mark. Pick up the chair. He dived at the chair, jerked it up, and shoved it in the direction of the table. It hit the table with a bang and crashed sideways. By that time, Mark was halfway to the stairs, waving the paper and yelling, Wow, wow, mine, all mine, on my side now. He made a flying leap for the third step, missed, and landed halfway on the bottom. He sprawled and he rolled on the floor. Before his mother could start from her chair and go to him, he was charging up the stairs, flying, arms flailing. It took only a few seconds to find a couple of pens and tack the instructions to the wall. He was just finishing when a frightening thought occurred. It sent him pounding down the stairs. "Dad! Maybe Fogg has already sold Ben. Maybe he's gone." "No, he isn't," his father said calmly. "I hunted up Fogg last night and I made a deal with him. He's to hold Ben until noon for me. I needed to think it all over." "You can still buy Ben if you pay Fogg by noon?" Mark said. "That's right. We have plenty of time." Mark's mother said, "So you inspected the shed last night in the dark. You made out those 2 lists. I wondered what kept you up so late. Why didn't you tell Mark when you found him with Ben this morning that you had a deal pending with Benson?" "I wanted Mark to realize he'd saved by Ben by agreeing to all the conditions on that paper. I think he gets it now." "No wonder everyone loves the Danes," Mark's mother smiled. "They're awfully smart." "Remember that next time you're tempted to start throwing crockery at me," Carl told her. "Can we go see Ben?" Mark asked. "I've got to tell him. I've got to take him out in the sun. Can we go now, Dad?" "All right." His father reached behind the door for the rifle. He held it a moment, his dark face thoughtful, then he dropped it into the crook of his arm. "Let's go," he said. Then they went up the path together, and Mark could not help notice how his father's shoulders were back, his head was high, the crest of blonde hair was shining in the sun. Mark danced about his father excitedly, pouring out a stream of talk and waving his arms. His father finally said, "You haven't shown this much life in a year. Maybe buying Ben isn't such a bad idea." Then he added in a low voice, as though talking to himself, "I hope it's not a bad idea. I sure hope it's not." That's the end of chapter 4.